Hi, everybody. It's good to see you again. I just got off the live with Carol Lamb, and what a wonderful conversation and a beautiful person that she is. I wanted to share with you something from my two Tao books. And I do my readings every day from this book. I think I've showed it to you before, but it's the Tao of Joy every day. And today it was one of those days where it just stood out to me. So I thought this is a good thing to share. So it's based on the 26th verse of the Tao. And I think that why should the lord of the country flit about like a fool? I love that. I wonder who that could be. If you let yourself be blown to and fro, you lose touch with the root. To be restless is to lose one's self-mastery. So that was a part of that particular verse. In today's reading, they talk about 10,000 chariots. And I love this because, when you're having tarot readings, there's always the chariot and you see the horses. You see, if you remember looking at the Rider-Waite, at least, you see the black horse and the white horse, and you see the charioteer trying to, it's the thing that they're standing in, whatever that's called, and I know it must have a name, but it's like a wagon, and they're standing in it. It's not the best. It's pretty tipsy. And so, you can't have one horse go this way and one horse go this way, or you're going to end up, down on the ground. This says, from time to time, you feel yourself shouldering a great responsibility. We all have them. We all have times like this. Some of us have this all the time. You may need to manage a complex project, organize a volunteer activity, plan a trip somewhere, manage a complex project, take charge of an organization, start a family, retire, begin a YouTube channel. I don't know, whatever it is that you're shouldering. It's almost as though you, they said here, the Tao Te Ching tells you that first and foremost, you need to approach the challenge with a serious intent and a somber attitude. It's very important to lay a foundation, because if you don't lay the foundation, then you're in your head too much, and the bumpy road coming up ahead is not visible to you. The Tao is often light-hearted in its approach to life. You'll see that if you ever read any of these. However, in this case, there's no room for lightness or frivolity. The second most important point is an emphasis on the fundamentals. So all of us, when we're wanting to figure out what it is we're going to do, what it is we're interested in, whether it be spiritual, physical, our work environment, how we're going to tackle a job, how we're going to tackle a trip, and figuring all of those things out, getting together with family for a reunion or a class reunion, all of those things. The expression in the Tao is that you never leave your heavy supplies. Never leave your heavy supplies. This means never lose sight of the basics and the appropriate tools that you need in order to move forward. It might mean training for you and your team may be your family, it may be your friends. A suitable environment to carry out the work, because if you don't have a suitable environment, then you're not going to be successful, because either people won't come and help you, or there may be other obstacles that you have to deal with. This is what brings the 10,000 chariots together in a coherent unit. So the Tao says, basically, that they call a commander of 10,000 chariots when you have all these things to collect. We might say, we have to gather up all the wild horses. But remember, this was written many, many years ago, thousands of years ago. So chariots was an appropriate thing for them to bring up. One of the things that I immediately thought of when I was reading this about the fundamentals was what your mother might have told you. Always make sure that you have clean underwear on before you go anywhere, because you might get in an accident or there might be some problem, and, you don't want dirty underwear. And so that's the fundamental. When you were in Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts, you learned the fundamentals. You learned how to take care of those things in order to move forward. But if you stop the fundamentals and you just move into the next, you're not ready for it yet. I think in this particular community, most of you actually are ready to move forward. You do know the fundamentals, but there are times when you will be confused. There are times when you're going to feel like, I don't have the confidence to do that. I'm too old. I'm too young. I'm too fat. I'm too thin. My hair's a mess. My background's a mess. As Carol said in the last video, who cares? We care more about that than other people do. I understand that, disarray can be upsetting to people. Putting your face out there, as Susan Lynn has said many times, as an introvert, it's very difficult to do. You judge yourself more harshly than anybody else would ever judge you. Believe me, it took me a long time to listen to my voice and be okay with it. Now, when I listen to it, I hear my mom. And my mom was a beautiful person, and I'm part of my mom. And she gave me the fundamentals. I don't have the best voice, but neither does anybody else. Maybe Casey Kasem, when he was doing American Top 40, or that macaroni and cheese guy that they found on the curb. Anyway, he learned the fundamentals. He didn't go to broadcast school. There's every possibility that if you are harboring or holding on to these 10,000 chariots or 10,000 things, ideas, things you need to do, that you will hit bumpy terrain. And if you don't have a solid foundation for the team, for the horses, for the chariots, you're going to have a lot more problems. But if you do, you can rest more easily. Write it down. Write down what you need to do. Cross it out. The fundamentals cannot be avoided. They have to be done. The fundamentals are an important part of every activity. If you don't set the fundamentals, lay the foundation, you're not going to achieve what it is that you'd like to achieve. You may have a lot more angst and worry and disappointment. Your chariots, if you lay your foundation, will weather the challenges. You will emerge stronger. You will be able to see how things played out, especially to be exactly where they should be. Never regret anything that you failed at or that you think you failed at. You did not fail. It was all a lesson. It was all a learning process. Please love yourself. It's so important. And know that you are dearly loved. Namaste. And remember the clean undies. Goodness sakes, what's wrong with you? Love you guys. Bye-bye.